Every so often in true crime, we see something that turns all the stereotypes on their head. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. That being that they are frequently true, but not always. Sometimes someone acts so far from their previous behaviour, their previous manner, or even the expectations of their gender. We're heading somewhere that we've been very recently on my channel, that being Stoke on Trent, where we went for the tragic case of Megan Newton. Now this case takes place in 2022 and sees an intelligent young lady make some dreadful alcohol-fueled decisions. This is the case of Alice Wood and her fiance Ryan Watson, and this is Murderous Crows. So we're back in and around Stoke for this case, so I don't need to highlight the rock gods that have their roots in this part of the UK. What do you mean you don't know who I mean? Well, since you asked. Slash and Lemmy both hail from this part of the world. But that's not why we're here today. Instead of a future in the cloistered world of Cambridge academia, Alice Wood is to spend the next few decades in high security women's prisons, rubbing shoulders with notorious female inmates. And why, I hear you ask? Well, bear with me and I will tell you exactly why. 23-year-old Alice Wood was a studious young lady, and she was, to all extents and purposes, settled within her life. She and charity worker boyfriend Ryan Watson, who was 24, had set up home together with their 4 dogs, buying a modest house in the Cheshire village of Road Heath, a house that cost approximately £120,000, and they bought this in October of 2021. As is quite common for young folks getting on the property ladder, they got some financial help from their parents. Now the couple were both from the same town of Cheadle in Staffordshire, but neighbours said that they had only got together in 2020, deciding to set up home together after a whirlwind romance. A friend of the family said, "She was a very intelligent girl, very clever, and she had a promising future." As I said, before they bought their home in Road Heath, the couple both grew up in nearby Cheadle, but didn't really meet and start interacting until much later. Now, Cheadle is a quiet town on the edge of the Staffordshire moorlands, and at some point they cross each other's paths. Now, the town is best known for the very lavishly decorated St Giles's Church, which was designed by Houses of Parliament architect Augustus Pugin, and was funded by the Earl of Shrewsbury, who lived nearby at Alton Towers, which is the site of the present-day theme park. And I'm assuming the current Earl doesn't live at Alton Towers now. But hey, stranger things have happened. Alice Wood grew up with two brothers and had at different times lived with both her mother, Deborah Sproston, who was a doctor's receptionist, and her father, Trevor Wood, who was a furniture maker, and the parents were divorced. Before she began her undergraduate degree, she had had part-time jobs in a convenience store and also as a waitress in a pub. She had spent some time travelling the world, with her Facebook account showing a picture of her posing with a small elephant. Yes, it was a small elephant, it wasn't me. A former neighbour from Cheadle said of the girl, she was quiet and studious. When she was older, she and her mother would go out to do the pub quiz together. Oh, I do love a pub quiz. So we have a picture of a friendly, intelligent, unassuming young lady who had found what she believed was her soulmate, and they had set up home together with plans to get married. But the fact that we're here and I'm telling this story means that something must have gone awry. To see what that was, we need to join the Lovebirds on the 6th of May 2022. Headway is a fantastic charity in the UK that helps those affected by brain injury. I have put details about their incredible work in the video description. Now, the reason that I mention them here is that Ryan Watson worked for the charity as a support worker, which speaks to the compassion and empathy that this young man clearly had. On the 6th of May 2022, one of Ryan's service users was having a party in the Hanley region of Stoke, and Ryan and Alice were invited. Both of them had been drinking at the party, and this led to an argument over who should stop drinking, as someone would need to drive home later. So tensions were fraying between the pair. And with alcohol in play, and Ryan seeming to really enjoy himself, Wood accused him of flirting with another woman at the party. Wood then decided that she would be the one to drive to their home on Oak Street in Road Heath. She then got into her Fiesta as Ryan walked around the vehicle, as you do. with neighbours reporting hearing shouting, doors slamming and a car engine revving. CCTV showed the car reversing towards Ryan, just missing him. Seconds later, Wood drove at him again, knocking him onto the car's bonnet. He walked away from that collision before she drove at him a third time, when he was dragged underneath it. After dragging Ryan 158 metres along the road, Wood then stopped and asked a nearby resident, "Please phone an ambulance. I think I've run over my boyfriend," like she's not sure whether she did or not. But this bystander, who was a shop assistant, revealed that when Wood banged on her door seeking help on the night of the murder, she was already trying to provide justification for what had happened. The resident said that she let Wood borrow her phone to try to ring her mother, but in her panicked state she couldn't remember her mother's phone number. In describing Wood's demeanour, the woman added she was quite distressed, but she wasn't crying. She said, "Please phone for an ambulance. I've run over my boyfriend." The woman went on to say, "I thought he would be lying by the side of the road in pain, so I went out. He was completely underneath the vehicle, but his head was visible and his foot was sticking out. I tried to see if he was still conscious, but there was no answer. It was quite horrific. We called an ambulance and they were here in 15 minutes. I was on the phone to them all that time." Another local resident who went to help at the scene said there were drag marks near the car. "I'm still trying to figure out how it happened. I've never seen an incident like this." The passenger door was open. The engine was cool. He was jammed under the car. The girl didn't want to see Ryan. The paramedics wanted her to go outside, but she didn't want to. She was all over the place. We had to support her. She was traumatized but couldn't walk, whether she was drunk or sober. The police arrived shortly after and arrested her. One villager said, "We are horrified by the events. The woman quite clearly ran over her boyfriend 2 or 3 times until he died. It was planned, it was calculated, and it was wicked. She deserves to spend the rest of her life in prison." The incident was completely at odds with the image that locals had of the quiet young couple. A pensioner who lived close to Wood and Ryan said that they had appeared the perfect couple, with her saying, "We can't believe it ended so tragically for them both. One dead and the other facing a lifetime in prison. What a waste of 2 young lives." The same resident told how the couple had moved into a small terrace in October of 2021 after a whirlwind romance. They had met in March of 2020 and got engaged just 6 months later. They seemed such nice people. They were very quiet and never caused any trouble. We never heard any rows or bickering or any loud parties. They seemed very much in love and a perfect pair. The girl Alice was a philosophy student and by all accounts was super bright, and he held down a good job. They had a future together and everything to live for, which makes what happened even more tragic. They were a delightful couple and seemed very content together. Emergency services responded to the scene of the accident, and paramedics sadly pronounced Ryan dead at the scene. Officers attended and spoke to Alice Wood, subsequently arresting her due to the disclosures that she had made. She also failed a roadside breath test and was found to have 61 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath, which was over the legal limit of 35. Upon arrest, she told officers rather cryptically, "It's fine, I deserve it." During interview on Saturday the 7th of May 2022, Wood answered no comment to all questions put to her, and she was conditionally bailed. When additional evidence came to light, Wood was further arrested and charged with murder on Thursday the 26th of May 2022. During her 3-week trial at Chester Crown Court beginning in December of 2023, Wood appeared smartly dressed, although she did have tattoos of various symbols visible, including Roman numerals on her hands and wrist. She retained her studious demeanour, reading literature including Meditations by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who was a leading Stoic philosopher. On other days she brought what appeared to be academic textbooks into the dock. One former friend described her as a swot at school, and that she actually had a tattoo of her exam results. Although she studied her undergraduate degree at Manchester University, the same friend also revealed that she had applied to study at Oxford. And this friend said, speaking to everyone who knew her, the general consensus is that this event was unexpected. She was really smart, like effortlessly so. In the first year of secondary school, she was selected for the gifted and talented group and got 3 A stars at A level, and was one of only a few pupils in the school's history to get to the final selection stage for Oxford University. Despite this promise, Alice Wood was convicted of the murder of 24-year-old Ryan Watson at Chester Crown Court on Tuesday the 2nd of January 2024. And on Friday the 2nd of February 2024, Alice Wood was sentenced to serve a minimum term of 18 years imprisonment. And following the sentencing, Detective Inspector Nigel Parr said, "The night Ryan died, Wood used her vehicle as a weapon while under the influence of alcohol, deliberately driving at him and even continuing to drive after knocking him down. She knew what she had done, but she refused to take accountability for her actions, forcing Ryan's family to sit through a trial and watch footage of his final moments." Throughout the trial, Wood proclaimed her innocence, but thankfully the jury saw through her lies, and she was found guilty of Ryan's murder. While nothing is going to bring Ryan back, I hope the sentence handed to Wood will bring some sense of closure for his family, knowing that justice has been served. Our thoughts remain with Ryan's family and friends at this time.
Today we finally got justice for our beloved Ryan. Ryan's death has left our family heartbroken. He was taken from us far too soon. Just a young man of 24 years old with his whole life ahead of him. He had just started his working career with the charities at Headways, with helping other people, which he loved to do. Ryan had just a big personality. He was bubbly, fun-loving, caring person with a heart of gold, and he'd do anything for anybody. Ryan loved animals and he loved his dogs. Ryan was always good at sports like football, BMX biking and playing pool. He loved hanging out with his mates and playing his music. He will forever be missed, and all his family and friends are heartbroken to know that we will never get to see Ryan again. Words cannot express how devastated we are with the loss of Ryan. He touched the hearts and enriched so many lives of everyone he knew. We only had 24 years together, but we are proud to say he was our son and a fantastic big brother. We are grateful today that we got justice for Ryan. It's been so hard to watch the CCTV footage of our son getting hit by the car over and over again, then dragged up the road, trapped underneath the car. I can't imagine how Ryan was scared at that time. The one person Ryan trusts the most was the person who took his life in such a violent way. I am living in a nightmare knowing that my son's moments, his last moments, were so brutal. We saw the CCTV footage of Ryan at the party that night, and we are so proud to see him being such a gentleman to everyone, helping an old lady who had fell over. He was the life and soul of the party that night. Alice is in prison where she belongs, so she can't do this to anyone else. No sentence will ever be long enough for what she has taken from us, and Ryan will never get to live his life and fulfill his dreams. We'd like to say such a big thank you to the emergency services and the people at the scene that helped Ryan that night, to the Cheshire Police, Nigel Parr, and the major investigation team, liaison officers Tom, Kerry and Kate. Thank you for all the support we've received through this difficult time, and a special thank you to the outstanding work and team of Mr Ford and its CPS. Thank you to all the jury and His Honour Judge Leeming for all your hard work and help for this fair verdict we've got for Ryan. Thank you.
Found guilty of the murder of Ryan Watson. Ryan was 24 years old at the time of his death. He was involved in a relationship with Alice. He was living with her, and on the evening of Friday the 6th of May 2022, he and Alice went to a birthday party at a venue in Hanley to enjoy the evening and enjoy the party. From CCTV it is quite clear, and from speaking to witnesses, that Ryan was enjoying the evening. Something during that evening created some tension, and in the journey home something occurred, whether it be a row, but basically something occurred in that journey home which caused some tension, and unfortunately then led to Alice driving her vehicle and using it as a weapon during that evening. She got into her Ford Fiesta. She initially drove at Ryan, reversed it out onto the carriageway, swerved off the carriageway, struck Ryan, throwing him onto the bonnet, reversed back, and then drove forward, tragically driving over Ryan and dragging him 150 metres up the road. She then went no comment to police officers during interview, and that then obviously led to the trial, the 3-week trial, leading to the jury's verdict of guilty. Ryan had his whole life ahead of him. He was 24 years old, he'd started a new job. There are no words, it's just a tragic set of circumstances. Ryan's family have remained dignified and strong throughout the trial, and the Cheshire Constabulary's thoughts and hearts go out to them. Thank you.
So that was, as we see all too often, a case where a few seconds of madness altered the course of multiple lives, and saw one promising life cut short as it was just beginning. But unlike many of the other cases, this one saw many assumptions and stereotypes turned on their heads as a previously studious and unassuming young lady seemed to snap and act completely against type, to chillingly and deliberately target a man she swore to love. It was a shocking act with massively impactful ripple effects that changed lives. We heard about Ryan and his value to his friends and family in the powerful statement that I spoke of previously from his family, and that value was incalculable. His career as a support worker working with those impacted by brain injuries showed who he was as a person. His life ended far, far too soon, and I send love and condolences to the friends and family trying to deal with this devastating loss. This video is absolutely dedicated to this kind and compassionate young man. Thank you for watching another episode of Murder of Crows. I'm Steve. This here is Samson. And we will see you when we see you.
Say that you're ready.